And welcome into a special edition of Sports Talk here on Blue Ridge 11. I am Chad Landers, and this is our annual LL League Football Coaches Show, a tradition that we are carrying on here in 2021. And we will get to a conversation with all 6 of our local football coaches here in our coverage area. But first, we've got to remind you that high school football is just days away here on Blue Ridge 11. We're so excited for the fall season to begin, and we kick it off in week 1 with Lampeter Strasburg and Warwick duking it out in Lidditz, August 27th, 7 p.m. Eric May and Mike Straub have the call for you there. So if you're not heading out to the game, join us for that telecast. And joining us now on the show is our voice of Blue Ridge for what is now 30 years. Eric May is here. Eric, it has been 30 years of covering live football on Blue Ridge 11. How excited are you that it's here, and how excited are you that we're finally ready for some high school football?
Well, I tell you what, I love this time of year. The excitement, the adrenaline, seeing who's coming back, seeing what teams can rebuild and reload and bring on a new season. Yeah, I tell you what, it never wavers. I mean, I just get so excited this time of year, and I can't wait for Friday night. And
we can hear the excitement oozing out of Eric May, and no better way to start the show than with the longest tenured ball coach in the LL now. It is Bob Locker of Warwick in your 21st year, I believe. How does it feel?
It doesn't get old. I mean, it's pretty exciting this year to have a semi-normal season after last year, and that's the last I'll talk about, last year and COVID. But normalcy's been a good thing, and it's that time of year where you're excited to find out how you match up against teams in an actual game situation on Friday night. Saturday scrimmage was a good thing. It's a chance to hit somebody from another team, but it's not the same as Friday night lights, and it's an exciting time of year.
It is very excited, and we are excited to have Warwick opening up the season. Let's remind everybody the teams that you will be squaring off for that section title, which you guys did win last year with an undefeated record. Manheim Central, Warwick, Cocalico from our coverage area, Conestoga Valley, and there, Solenco and E-Town rounding out Section 2. The last time Section 2 will look like this as the LL merges with Berks next year. So, Coach Locker, how do we feel going into this season? We do have to remind people, you guys had a team for the ages last year, and you lost a ton of players. I'm hearing the number about 17 potential starters from that team. So how do we feel going into 2021?
Would you say it is a time for reloading, rebuilding, or are we roadkill? It all depends who you talk to. I've had some people say gee, it's going to be an awful tough season. I honestly think that what we're doing right now is just reloading. We lost some amazing football players. They had a tremendous 3-year run. We've had a good 5-year run. I think the thing that not everybody necessarily understands is when you have kids of the caliber we had, you don't necessarily understand how good their backups are because you're not seeing them. And I think we have a number of kids that have paid their dues and are ready to shine in their own arena this year.
Well, we get to see them in action in week 1. I know Eric May's excited to call that game. So Eric, why don't you launch into some questions here for Coach Locker?
Well, and Coach, I want to go right to the quarterback spot. I know last year you had told me you were really excited about Jack Reed and the future that he has. Obviously, you wanted to have Joey McCracken from day one. That wasn't going to happen because of his knee injury. So how big was that experience for Jack Reed through the first couple of weeks of last year, pushing him into this year?
I think it was huge, and I think you also add to that the fact that we brought him up as a 9th grader because we saw potential in him, and we're not big fans of stripping our junior high program, but we thought we had a chance to develop a quarterback that would pick up as a junior when Joey left. So he made some progress, and I think the 2.5 games he played last year demonstrated his understanding of our offense, demonstrated his understanding of how to analyze defenses, and showed that the kid can throw a football. He's grown intellectually, in terms of football from last year to this year. He can spin a football, and now it's his opportunity to lead our team. We're really thrilled about where he is.
Yeah, and Chad talked about the ton of talent that you lost from last year, and you got one returning receiver in Cooper Eckert, but you said now is the time for these other guys that have paid their dues to step up. Who can we look for as guys that Reed will be throwing to besides Cooper Eckert?
First, in terms of Cooper, we expect, huge things from him this year. I'm going to give you a name, Ryan Fink. The young man came out for football last year. He was on a serious learning curve, but his work in the off season, in the weight room and hanging out with us on Saturdays and running patterns, I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver and a DB as well. Very athletic young man and enjoys football very much. He's going to help us. Colin Winters is a young man who's got some serious speed. Tanner White played a little wide out last year. Blake Minnick can also help us. So, we have some people to throw to.
Yeah. Now, Reed obviously played in the shadows of McCracken, and then you had Colton Miller running. But I think you had another guy that was kind of in his shadows in Christian Royer, who averaged 5 yards a carry. So you've got to be excited about what Royer is going to bring to the table this year.
Yeah, and Christian had a really very, very good scrimmage on Saturday. He ran the ball well. Like you said, in a lot of other teams or a lot of other years, he'd have been the go-to back last year. He just happened to be behind Colton. He's a pretty good north-south runner, and I'm also going to throw out Brendan Snyder. Didn't get a lot of touches last year, but if you check the stats on him, he's got some serious breakaway ability. He's got excellent vision. So they're both going to touch the football at running back to start the season. And we think they both bring something unique to the table.
Yeah. And of course, I always like to, focus on the offensive line too, because it all starts there. And again, you got hit with graduation, but again, an opportunity for some guys to step up. And I guess, Hess is going to be the key cog as far as the offensive line is concerned.
Aaron will start at center. He played a little bit last year. Nate Young's a returning starter at tackle. He started all games for us last year. So he's also one of our captains, as is our, Hess and Cooper. So we expect, great things from him. He's a very, very good football player. The Detter brothers, Luke and Cole, have come a long way. And then Zipko. So we think we can go 7-8 deep line wise, but again, it goes back to a lot of those kids were playing behind excellent offensive linemen, but we think they're ready for the task at hand.
Okay. And then how about on defense? Again, an area that a lot of guys walked off with graduation last year, but I guess the one thing that you had was that capability of, you get these big wins and you get these kids some valuable playing time, third, fourth quarters of the games last year. So what they played in last year, you got to hope that will carry them forward into this year.
Defensively, we actually returned some players who saw significant time or were starters all year long. I'll start at linebacker. Aaron Hess is returning all section linebacker, and Brendan Snyder was the other inside starting linebacker. So they're both back. Christian Royer started the majority of games at outside backer last year also. So 3 out of our 4 linebackers are back. We have a pretty good competition for the 4th linebacker spot. So that's an area of strength for us. At cornerback, Cooper Eckert's back and Tanner White is back. Tanner stepped in as a starter when Tanner Haynes got hurt last year and then kind of kept, the job, at least 50-50 split. So those 2 guys are back with, substantial experience, and Ryan Fink's going to be in the mix as a DB. Like I said, he's come a long way. So those are some solid areas for us. Defensive end, we lost some studs. Thatcher Miller and that Rucci kid were pretty good football players. We're working a rotation through. We have some young kids that are stepping up and doing some good things. I'll give you another name to throw out there to keep an eye on. 10th grader Nick Slogic,
baseball
big kid. Yep. Yeah. So we think he's gonna be a presence on defense, and we have some other people. So I'm going to go back to, they're not household names, but I think they're very good football players.
And the thing is too, you mentioned a strong linebacking core, and I have to agree. But all of a sudden, when you're rattling off these names, I'm thinking, you know, geez, the last 3-4 years, you've had really, really solid linebackers. Is it all start with the linebackers on the Warwick defense?
I think one of the things is, like, you know, we're talking to kids today. You coach every year, you coach as hard as you can, you try to get the most out of what you have. It's kind of necessary to have a certain degree of talent if you're going to be successful. I mean, it's just the way it is. So I think we've had some kids that have some natural talent. I think we've had kids who now have seen those pass before them, their work ethic in the weight room and in practice. And then I think that, you know, we actually have a fantastic coaching staff on both sides of the ball. Coach Smoker does a great job with the defense, and he's now the inside linebacker coach, and we've picked up some other very knowledgeable coaches. I think the combination of kids who are willing to be coached, work hard, and get ready for what's necessary as a football team, and then quality coaching puts them in a position to be successful on Friday nights. And I honestly think, you know, that's what we strive for now, year in and year out. Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Speaking of Friday night, big matchup here in week 1, and we have it on the TV. You guys versus Lampeter Strasburg. And boy, we kind of hoped to get this last year because 2 district champion quality teams would have clashed on Blue Ridge. We get it this year as they're both reloading a bit, but they both still have a lot of horses in the barn per se. What do you think of your week 1 matchup you have here with LS?
You know, they're a storied football program. They take great pride in what they do. You know, they're perennial contenders, and you look what they've done the last couple of years. Last year would have been a great matchup. That would have been a good time, I think. It's something we both would have enjoyed. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So, and like you said, we're both kind of in a quote-unquote rebuilding mode this year. But what I see when I looked at their film is the same as us. Like, not household names, but quality football players and kids who go about their job and then do it the right way. Offense has changed a little bit now that Ridenauer's taken over. It's not Mannion's offense, but they got some good kids. The Heiser kid is an outstanding tight end. The quarterback appears to be athletic, and they have some horses up front. So they're gonna be a good football team, and I think it's a outstanding week 1 clash. Hopefully it'll be a very entertaining football game. It's hard to get a read on somebody off a scrimmage tape in 1 week, but we'll find out a lot Friday.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to that. Eric, your last final question here for Coach Locker.
All right, Coach, I've posed this to the other coaches. I need you to fill in the blank for Warwick to have a successful 2021 season. The key will be
continued growth during the season.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, again, we'll see you week 1, but then we'll see you week 9 against Calico. So hopefully we will see a lot of growth between then, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for coming on the program. We will see you in just a few days out there in Lidditz, and we cannot wait for high school football to return. All right, thank you to Coach Locker and the Warwick Warriors. Reminder, Friday night, 7 o'clock, if you're tuning in to Blue Ridge 11, you're going to get one heck of a ball game here as we will have live for you Lampeter Strasburg and Warwick. It is week 1 of the high school football season, and we are so excited for it to be back on Blue Ridge 11. Tune in for that. Right at 7 o'clock, usual time. All right, we are taking a break, and when we come back here on Sports Talk, we are chatting with Manheim Central's head coach Dave Hahn. We'll have that for you coming back on Sports Talk.